Jar, I don't know what delay you're talking about. We are live. There's no delay on this stream. There doesn't need to be. No head coaches have appeared on camera. It's just me. No interviews. No nothing. It is just releasing the field. Crazy. This is probably my 16th selection show stream. This is the 6th one for the RFCL, I believe. And I did 10 or so for Gridiron before we moved to the new game. But it's that time to release the field of 6. As you can see, the bracket's right there. 6 teams will be in the playoffs to fight for the Season 7 championship. There are a lot of little different storylines going into Season 7. This year, for the first time, we really have had 2 teams kind of got the first round bye. I mean, I think it's pretty clear who we think the first round bye is going to be. The division champions. There's only 3 teams, or 4 teams, that could really have fought for it, and it was the 4 teams playing the division title. I should be pretty clear that those teams they're obviously in, but in a good spot in the playoffs. Now I go to the bottom of the playoff discussion. 4 teams with a 4-4 record. Will we get a second ever RFCL play in the game? First one back in Season 5 between Mercer and Northwest Missouri State. Will we get it again? We will find out momentarily, but it's been a wild season and a wild start of the off season. Already had a ton of coaches moves. Had to eliminate 2 teams. It's the final. Martin, it's a little late for your camera now. I don't know what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought. Thanks, Martin. Lost 2 teams. Yeah, Martin ruined it. I don't know where I was going with that sentence. Anyway, this won't be a long stream because of one thing. I want to go watch the Thunder game, which is probably starting right about now. There's no interviews like we normally have it. There's no awards. Awards will be another stream like he always is, probably next week or so. It'll be relatively soon. Got to send out the polls and stuff. But this is unique. This is the first year, no head coach input into the computer poll, which I can confidently tell you, only 4 teams' score changed after conference championship weekend, which is probably should be so. The 4 teams that played in the division title saw their score change up and down because of the game that they played. If you weren't in it, you didn't really have any data points to change. That being said, we're going to unveil the Season 7 playoff bracket. The number 1 overall seed, I think everyone's got a pretty good idea of who that's going to be. Heading to Birmingham, Alabama. It is Northeastern State, 8-1, first year under Coach Wad. 1 loss to Virginia State, I might add, who is fighting at the bottom. In that 4-4 spot for those final couple of spots. At number 2, the other division champion, should be no surprise to see, Central Arkansas is at number 2. You can see they jump 1 spot to number 2. And as you could probably figure out pretty clearly who's number 3 and getting that first home game, it is Northwest Missouri State. Loser of the Intercontinental Conference Championship game, they fall to number 3. 2 losses on the season, both Central Arkansas. There you go. There's all your 7 and above win teams. Now it's where we get tricky. We still haven't seen UConn, Virginia State, App State, Valdosta State, Central Oklahoma. There are 3 spots for those 5 schools. We're going to unveil number 4. Getting the final home game in the first round is UConn at 5-4. So the loss to Northeastern State in the division championship game doesn't drop them a spot. They hold at number 4. And now this is where it gets tricky. Who is going to get that final spot? It's time to compare resumes. Who gets in? You got 4 teams for 2 spots, all with the same record. And there's 2 things that stick out. in the top 3 section, this is based on the current rankings as it stands right now. The only team that got a win is Virginia State. They only have 1 win. Or they're the only team that has a win that beat number 1 Northeastern State. When you go to the bottom 4, the only team that has a loss is App State. They lost to Space Force. But as you can see on the right side, I put everyone's divisions. Division non-con games are a data point in this. North Atlantic won at 10-8. So they get an extra boost. So App State, Virginia State get a boost over Central Oklahoma and Valdosta State. Moving on in this, that is not the only data point in the coaches poll. There is at the time rankings, and you can see a couple of changes. Valdosta State gained a bottom 4 loss. When they lost to Central Oklahoma, that was a bottom 4 loss. However, App State did gain a top 3 win when they beat Virginia State earlier in the season. There's kind of the resume right there between the schools. We're going to unveil number 5. Heading to East Hartford, Connecticut is Virginia State at 4-4. So the resume with that top 3 over Northeastern State did have a big impact on the rating. Now I will say, the schools next, they're close. It was a close race. It's App State, Valdosta State, and Central Oklahoma. I will make this clear right now. There wouldn't be any discussion if Valdosta State would have hung on. They would have gotten in with ease. With the loss of Central Arkansas, number 6 in the playoffs and the final seed will be between 2 teams. It's a play-in game, which means we'll have 1 team on the first team out. Second ever play-in game in RFCL history. Let's go unveil the first playoff game of Season 7. More importantly, hosting the play-in game. Will be, make sure I press play, App State. App State gets in, and they're hosting. They're going to host the play-in game. They are in. They have a chance at the national title. Now their opponent is Central Oklahoma or Valdosta State. How far did Valdosta State fall with that loss to Central Arkansas? As I said, if they would have won, they're in. There's no debate. We have our 6 teams. With the loss to Valdosta State, number 7, the final spot in the playoffs, is Central Oklahoma. Heading to Boone, North Carolina, Valdosta State's out. 4-0 to start the season and did not get in. There it is. Wad, listen, you can say whatever you want. I had Wad check my ratings too. I have people double check my stuff. You can say what you want. I don't care. It's not rigged. Whatever. I see the general chat. It's every damn year. I know you guys. Whatever, Juan. Whatever. You didn't see anything. We can go on veil number 8. It's pretty obvious who that is. Valdosta State's 8. Once we get back there, this is a video. I can't scroll through it. Yeah, there's Valdosta State. They're number 8. They're number 8. But there you have it. When you have 4 and 4 teams, the battles are really close. Pretty much, Valdosta State and UCLA was basically the play-in game to number 7 and number 8. That's how close the bottom half of the rankings were. So, when you don't have any top 3 wins, and you have a bottom 4 loss, or you don't have any, every win is massive. So, bowl games. I will say, you do not have to play these games. I put them on there. You can decline your bid or whatever. I chose the teams that I thought would actually play the game. So, in the Swamp Bowl, we have Furman and Penn. T-Man coaching his final game at Penn if he wants. He doesn't have to. I assume they want one more game. They play Furman, who went from winning a national championship to going 1-7 on the season. There's the Swamp Bowl. You're going to Florida. That should be a very interesting game. And the other one, the Beach Classic, is going to get Baldwin-Wallace and Valdosta State. As you can see, I didn't choose Space Force. And the only reason I didn't choose them was because they didn't play their Week 8 game. I assume they're done. I assume they don't want to. I didn't put them in. That being said, they're more than welcome. If one of those 4 teams don't want to play, they can take their spot. No big deal. You just got to tell me so I can put it in the dynasty. Yeah, that's... I see Reed's comment in general. Yeah, Baldwin Wallace by Valdosta State. Backup quarterback versus Baldwin Wallace. There's no 16, guys. When you have 7 teams in the playoffs. Well, Jason, I wasn't told this before tonight, so I assumed that Space Force was done, especially after last week. Anywho, did Baldwin Wallace? Oh yeah, that's right. They played last year. I forgot about that. I forgot that Mercer played, but I don't care. They're playing. Whatever. Yeah. So I'm gonna get with Monarch. Everybody's staff that I asked in head coach chat if they could play tomorrow or today or tomorrow, they said yes. So there will be a play-in game. Oh boy, there will be a play-in game either today or tomorrow. Gonna get a hold of Monarch. We'll see you then. I'll put the announcement in the chat. There will be no delay in the playoffs. Juan, I make no promises. I make no promises. That being said, appreciate you guys watching. Lay it on me. I've heard it all throughout the years of this. I'm sure I'll continue to. I'll see it in the general chat. With that being said, appreciate you guys. Keep on looking at the playoffs. I don't know who's streaming what. I don't even know if my game's going to get streamed. But yeah, well,